This scene is freaking amazing and is the reason why I am now fully on the Jujutsu Kaisen hype train. In my opinion, this scene is made great by Mahito being the perfect antithesis to Yuuji, the tragedy of Junpei and the savageness of Sukuna. Let me briefly go over the roles of each character leading up to this before explaining how it all perfectly comes together. Yuuji's goal is to make sure that other people are able to have a good death, and he is up against a villain whose abilities guarantee that won't be happening. Mahito is able to transfigure humans into these grotesque monsters that have their lives ended in a way without glory or dignity. And the fact that he takes great joy in doing so makes him the ultimate enemy for someone like Yuuji. And that is one of the reasons why we see such an extreme reaction from him. He's put in a situation where the only way to give these souls a proper death is by killing them, which is an action that goes against everything he stands for. Mahito's childlike personality makes him infinitely more entertaining than those silent cold villains that are really common in shonen. His hyperactive personality is essentially the exact same as Yuuji, and if you remove his bloodlust, I can actually see these two becoming friends and bantering with each other the way Yuuji and Nobara already do. Thanks to Junpei being rejected and bullied all his life, he is indifferent toward most things, but his pent-up hatred makes him easy to be manipulated by Mahito, who's feeding into all his negative feelings. But on the other side, he has Yuuji, who is able to manipulate his better qualities and show us in the right setting Junpei could be a good person. And that makes his realization at the end that he picked the wrong side that much sadder. Junpei being right in between Mahito and Yuuji is a visual way of telling us that he has to pick a side now. And thanks to him losing to Yuuji and this scene in the opening, we all think that he will finally choose good, but instead we find out he doesn't have a choice. He is just a pawn before he is transfigured and dies. Yuuji has just failed his greatest goal, giving people a good death, and he also saw his friend die. He turns to Sukuna for aid, and this is supposed to be the moment where Yuuji joins the likes of Naruto and Asta, and uses his monster powers to beat up the enemy. But apparently Sukuna never saw the script, and harshly reminds him that he is just as much a curse as Mahito. If you've ever failed badly, you know the worst thing is to be laughed at for it, and that's what's now happening to him. And he can't even retreat into his mind as Sukuna is laughing at him from there as well. All he can do is sit there and take the abuse, before finally snapping. The ominous OST, black and white colors, and chilling phrase all remind us of Gon's rage scene, who, like Yuuji, was completely broken and snapped. And the following fight makes the scene even better as, even though I wanted to see Mahito get his head smashed in, I was worried the show would give Yuuji some nonsensical power-up, but instead he gets a few good shots in, but is ultimately able to win thanks to Sukuna's arrogance and overpoweredness. And when you factor in how that has already been established from the start, and his previous refusal makes it a really satisfying ending. This whole sequence, like I said earlier, put me on the Jujutsu Kaisen hype train, because while it had cool fights and entertaining characters, I never felt invested in the story until now. Now I want to see Mahito's future actions. I want to see more interactions between Sukuna and Yuuji, and I want to see how the story will build off of this arc. So yeah, if you liked this video, please consider subscribing and have a great rest of your day.